Welcome back, guys. It's Weedle, and I got some exciting news. The assembly shop is back. Uh, this Friday, July 26th, 8 p.m., you'll have a chance to get the Vickers new British medium tank, Vickers MBT Mark III. I'm going to tell you kind of what I think of the tank, just looking at other people play it. Unfortunately, I don't have a press account, but I have talked to some of the guys that had it, so I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to be. We'll look at a Tanks GG thing on it real quick. I'm not going to keep this kind of short. I'm going to go over how to actually get the tank, how to determine what resources you're going to spend, and go from there. Alright, so what you want to do to get started is head over to worldoftanks.com, click this little link right here for a update, and if you scroll down, what you're going to do is you're going to see a calculator right here, and this is going to roughly tell you what it's going to take to get the tank, but we're going to reset. I think what the most likely people will do is use up all the national fragments. Now I do want to show you something on the national fragments. You can only use 64 national fragments per nation. So if you don't have 64 in one of the nations, you can't make that up because you have 600 Japanese fragments for whatever reason. You can use 280 universal fragments, and for XP you can use as much as you want. I believe it's about 640,000. Yep. So if you do some similar to this, I think this is probably the most efficient way to get it. Credits, I mean, if you have a ton of credits, I've seen people with well over 100 million credits. You could go with that route. I would not spend bonds on this. 500 bonds for 1% is a lot, but if that's what you needed to do to get it, certainly, if that's what you want. Let's go over to Tanks GG right quick, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it. Okay, Tanks GG. I am going to compare this to the Leopard 1. I believe this is the tank that it most closely resembles. A couple of quick things that stand out, though. You're looking at about 200 more DPM with the Vickers, less penetration on standard ammunition, and 30 less alpha damage. And I'm going to come back to that in just a moment because I think that's actually important. Potential damage is quite a bit less. You don't get as much ammo on the Vickers as you do this Trian AX. Though 50 rounds, I think, is more enough to take a little bit of everything that you need to. As far as dispersion and gun handling goes, a little worse than the aim time, but dispersion, really good at .26. This is going to be a really good sniper. It is quite a bit slower. That's going to be another drawback, which I will come back to. And as far as armor goes, this thing literally has no armor. We're going to compare this on the 3D model right quick, and let's just see what we got. I mean, here's the thing. HE rounds are going to pin this thing all over the place, and that's going to be a big problem. 42, geez. So this thing will easily get overmatched by anything that's got actually overmatched by 105mm guns, so which are very common among medium tanks. So this thing is not going to be bouncing rounds. Let's go over what I think of this tank. So is this going to be a good tank? Yes, this will be a good tank. Are you going to be missing out if you don't get it? Not really. This is essentially a Leopard 1, but it's probably going to be harder to play. It has no armor, and it's slower. It does have more DPM, but just because the Leopard has more alpha, 30 more alpha, and very similar DPM, I would wager to bet most players will do better in the Leopard 1 than they will this tank. I would probably, watching people play this tank today, I watched Skills, and I watched Moth, I watched Aki. Definitely this thing will be S tier difficulty to play. It is good. It might get used in competitive play every now and then. There will be one of them. It's not going to be the main course. It's not replacing the CS63 right now. This is going to be every once in a while you need a tank with high DPM and rate of fire that's not going to be out in the open. And honestly, most of the time, you'll probably still take a Leo. So, it's my opinion of it. It will be good. You're not going to be missing out. If you don't get it, you can still basically play something that's probably going to do a little better for you, which is going to be the Leopard 1. But it's going to be a good tank. And I think in the hands of really good players, they'll do really well in it. And in players that don't normally do well in squishy tanks, you're probably going to do worse in this one because it's going to be more squishy than usual. That's my kind of take on it. But let's see what how to plan for it and where can you figure out where all your resources are. So to figure out what resources that you have to spend on this, first thing you're going to want to just count for is how much free experience you have, how many credits you have. You got your gold here, your bonds here. Now, as far as figuring out where your fragments are, just go to Depot and go to this little tab right here, the blueprints, and this is going to have a list of all your tabs. As you can see, I've only got 251 universal blueprints. I'm going to have to take that into consideration as I'm planning to how to use all my resources. Same thing here. I don't have 64 in every nation, mainly Poland. So I'm not going to be able to use Poland for all that. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of math, figure out, use a little bit more free experience for me. I do plan on getting this tank. It's a good tank. It will be fun to play. I'm going to have it for my garage, but like I said, it's not going to be for everyone. For most players, I will strongly say that I think they'll do better in the Leopard 1 than they will this tank. It's going to be slower than the Leo, which means you're probably not going to be able to just go with a hardening because you're going to need that speed, which means you're going to opt for a turbo. Of course, there's going to be a rammer. My other piece of equipment I think people will be putting on this is vents. You're going to bump up that DPM as high as possible. That being said, it'll still be a good tank. It's going to be very popular if you're going for it. People really love those sniper mediums and TDs. So there's going to be 10,000 of them on the NA server. The 5,000 of them we'll be able to get with a 3D skin. Those will probably be done after the first day. The last few that have gone through, you could still pick up the tank a few days later. That may still be the case on the North American server. I doubt that's the case on the EU server. There will be 50,000 of them there. Those usually get gobbled up pretty quickly. They're gone, completely gone within an hour or two. NA server usually takes a couple of days, but like I said, this tank will be more popular than a lot of the others. People really like the Leopard 1. It's one of the most popular mediums. The people are going to look at this as a second Leo 1. So there will be a lot more interest in it. So I don't know how long the 10,000 will last. The 5,000 I suspect will be gone first day. The 10,000, the other 5,000 probably shortly after, maybe a day or two if they go out. So just keep that in mind as you're planning for it. But hope this helps, guys. Be sure to take account, do the math, use the little calculator on their website, and good luck.